My daughter, who always preaches about women's rights, just did something shocking at a party. Now, a guy is planning to press charges against her, and everything's spiraling out of control. My daughter is a very stereotypical third-wave feminist who says she believes in equality, but she actually believes that women should have more power than men. She's the kind of person who never cooks or does laundry but wants her boyfriend to do all the DIY work, take her everywhere, and treat her like a princess. She ended her last relationship because her boyfriend asked her to make him a sandwich when he was getting ready to go to work, as he didn't have time to make his own meal. She took this as a big insult, claiming that he was a misogynist who believed she had to be a servant in the kitchen. I knew the guy, and he was far from being a misogynist. Anyway, my daughter also likes to get into discussions about feminism, and she and I have these kinds of conversations often. One of her main arguments is that she expects her partner to pay for absolutely everything. This is because, according to her, she is oppressed and can't get a job because she is a woman, not because she is always 15 minutes late for interviews. A couple of months ago, my daughter and I had a big fight because she read an online article about SA. The article said that if a man is intimate with a woman when he is drunk, it is SA. I'm sure many can agree with that, but the article went one step further. It said that even if the woman is also drunk, it is still assault, without exception. It also said that even if the man is very drunk and the woman is just a little dizzy, it is still assault. Even if both parties are under the influence, and the man and woman are partners and have intimacy, it is still assault. She said that this is because a woman cannot give her consent under any circumstances if she is dizzy, and any act of intimacy is an attack. This is not the same for men, as they are much more capable physically, and if they really did not want to, they could physically resist. Anyone with unbiased thinking can deduce that this is clearly propaganda. My daughter, upon reading it, thought it was a brilliant article and told me about it. Of course, we disagreed, and this led to a big fight between us, during which she accused me of being a misogynist and even told me she was lucky she wasn't reporting me for assault because I had been close with an ex of mine a couple of years ago. I ended up leaving the discussion and refused to continue participating after that. Since she read the article, my daughter has stuck in her head the idea that men cannot be assaulted because they are physically stronger. Simultaneously, she has also developed a crush on a boy in one of her classes and tells me about him from time to time. He's exactly her type, so I hear, and he seems like a good guy. I encouraged her to go for it, but she said she wouldn't because she was nervous, and women don't ask men out. That's the man's job. I asked her what was going on with equality, and she thought that was different. My daughter has spent a lot of time talking about this guy, so naturally, when last week she found out that he was also invited to the same house party she was going to, she was excited. The party was a few days later, and my daughter came home the next morning with a slight hangover. She went to bed, and later that night, I asked her how the party had gone. She told me that she had been with her crush. I was excited for her and asked her to tell me how it had gone, and when she started talking, my jaw dropped to the floor. She said that after having a few drinks, she plucked up the courage to talk to him, and so she did. They ended up getting along well, and things started to escalate from there. They started talking about the possibility of going home together, but at one point, disaster occurred. My daughter says she lost sight of him halfway through and went all over the house looking for him but couldn't find him. She ended up stumbling upon a bedroom where the only person was her crush. However, he was clearly almost out of it. He had had too much to drink, was conscious, but he barely responded when my daughter asked him if he was okay. However, instead of helping him, my daughter decided that the only way to make him feel better was literally to make him feel better. She said she first kissed him while he barely moved. Then she threw him on the bed and continued to get close to him. She said he didn't move much and seemed almost out of his mind the whole time, but that didn't matter because he could still respond. When my daughter told me this, I told her that she had assaulted him, and she said it wasn't possible because girls can't assault boys, and that if anything, he was the one who assaulted her because she was still a little dizzy. I called her crazy and told her that what she had done was a crime and that I didn't want to see her for a while. That night, I texted the boy, as I had his social media, asking him if he was okay. He knew I was my daughter's father, and we began to talk. It turns out that what my daughter did affected him a lot, and he felt very violated. I told him how my daughter talked about what had happened, and he said it was disgusting of her, with which, of course, I agreed. I asked him if he wanted to do something about it, and he said he was considering filing charges because, although at first, he did want to spend time with her, when he was almost unconscious, he didn't want to see anyone, much less be with someone. He said he was concerned about the stigma that comes with being assaulted by a girl as a man and wasn't sure if they would take him seriously. I told him he had my support and urged him to take legal action if he felt he had to. In the end, he said he believes he will sue her and asked me to help him by testifying against my daughter and informing the court about my daughter's words and attitude towards the whole situation. I said yes, and he is now contacting lawyers.